here. Okay. So this is the physician assistant session for the Springfield College open house. My name is Dr. Megan Mijon, and I am the department chair and program director of the program. I have with me two students, Seema and Michaela, who are in the first year of the graduate phase of the program, and they're going to be available to answer any questions you guys may have about what it's like to live on campus, or food, dorms, sports, all those things that people might be interested in. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat. The chat feature, there's a little bubble down at the bottom. You can type it right in there, and we'll get to that at the end, or you're free to raise your hand under the reactions tab. There's a little raise your hand and we can address your questions that way, or you can just simply unmute and interrupt and ask a question. We'll be happy to entertain that as well. So I am going to start my presentation. Maybe I'm going to share my screen and present. You guys can see that, Michaela and Seema? Great. Okay. So our lovely campus with the leaves turning. So we're going to talk about the undergraduate portion of the physician assistant program in the School of Health Sciences. Here's just a list of all of our faculty. So I am the program director, department chair. I just took over, I went too far. Just September 1 was my first day as department chair. I have been with the department since 2009, working as academic coordinator. We also have Dr. Rebecca Rosenstein, who is our medical director and is very prevalent in our students' education. She's here every Thursday doing clinical medicine lectures, helping with case-based learning, that kind of stuff. And then we have Dr. Corinne Sieve is a pathologist who teaches pathophys and anatomy. She is in charge of the cadaver lab and helps out with our pathophys lectures in the clinical medicine course. Roxanne Sprague is a practicing physician assistant and teaches clinical skills and the pharmacology course. Lonnie Kearney is another didactic faculty, practicing PA, who is doing the clinical medicine course. And then we have Christine Nibala, another practicing PA, who takes care of our history and physical course. And then we have Mr. Andrew Baginski and Ms. Melinda Connors, who are the two practicing PAs who deal with our clinical year. So they're in charge of clinical rotations, getting the students out on sites and making sure that they get the education during that last clinical year that they need. So that is our faculty. So probably you know what a PA is if you're interested in going to the, to join our PA program. But in general, we are nationally certified and state licensed medical professionals. We practice medicine on healthcare teams with physicians and other providers, nurse practitioners, nurses, pharmacists, etc. And we practice and prescribe medications in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, and all of the US territories with the exception of Puerto Rico. So what can PAs do? Well, we can take a medical history, take physical exams, diagnose and treat illnesses, order and interpret tests, develop treatment plans. We deal a lot with preventative medicine, preventative care. We assist in surgery, write prescriptions, and make rounds in hospitals and nursing homes. Some PA-specific duties may go above and beyond that, depending on the setting in which you work. I practice emergency medicine, so some of the clinical skills that I do in my job are different than what a PA may do that's working in family medicine, but that sort of depends on where you're working, your level of experience, the specialty that you have chosen to go into, and any specific state laws where you're working. PAs can go into a plethora of different specialties. One of the things that is really unique to our career choice is that after we graduate, you can essentially, you go take your boards and you can go into any specialty that you desire and can find a job in. And then you can do that for a couple of years, and then you can just change modalities and say, hey, now I want to go try, you know, some cardiology and do that for a few years. And that's what's really unique to our training. Physicians go to school, they go to residency, they pick the area that they're going to specialize in. And if they want to change gears, they have to go back to a residency or a fellowship in that area. I personally have a friend who is a physician who did emergency medicine for 6-7 years and then decided that emergency medicine wasn't really for him, and he had to go back to a fellowship to now do sports medicine. And now he's really found his niche and found what he liked to do in sports medicine. As a PA, we don't have to go back to school. Many PAs will start out in family medicine, emergency medicine, urgent care, and then switch gears and go into plastics or ENT, psychiatry. It gives us a lot of flexibility in our career choices over time. So the AAPA salary report reported a median salary nationwide in 2019 was about 110,000. That's a great number. See, my students are smiling there. They are excited to have that salary in 2 years when they go graduate. Parents, if you're on the call, that's the important number for them, because that means you will be able to pay off those student loans. So, you know, and that is up from last year. It was like 106,000 was the median. So it just keeps going up. So what's the process to becoming a PA? So you have to apply and be accepted to an accredited PA program. And that's what you guys are looking into doing right now. You have to be successful in that program and graduate. To become certified, you have to pass the PANCE exam, which is the PA National Certifying Exam. And then you apply for your state license and go out there and get a job. So more about our program. So we are a 6-year undergraduate to graduate program with, in 4 years, you'll get your bachelor's degree in pre-PA studies. And then you roll right into the graduate phase and go through those 2 years to end up with your master's degree in PA studies as well. We have 3 points of entry. The largest point of entry tends to be the undergraduate. So these are people who enter the program in the freshman year and will go through all 6 years as a cohort together. We do take transfer students. So occasionally people have some attrition or realize PA is not really for them, and they may leave the program. And so if seats become available, we will accept transfer students in. Usually these people are in the sports bio major, PT major, one of the other science programs. The third point of entry is for graduate students. So they apply after they have finished their bachelor's degree, usually from a different institution. They apply and are allowed entry into the program if we have enough seats. We are accredited through the ARC-PA, and we are only allowed to have 35 students per class. So that does limit us to how many can enter that graduate phase. And that's the sort of the area in which we say we have space or not, is based on that 35 number. So you have 3.5 years of undergrad, 2.5 years of professional phase, graduate phase, master's level, however you want to call it. All of the PA faculty are an academic advisor. We all have undergraduate and graduate advisees that we meet with at a minimum of once a semester, if not more, if needed, to just talk about how things are going, registration for classes, making sure people are on track, that kind of thing. So one of the unique things for our program is that we have a guaranteed entry into the professional phase when all academic requirements are met. So if you are entering as a freshman, as long as you meet all of the minimum GPA and minimum grades, there is no exam you have to take. There is nothing special you have to do. You just roll right into the graduate phase. So that is that guaranteed entry. The seat is yours and it's yours to lose, is sort of what we say. PA classes are taught by the full-time faculty. We all have primary teaching responsibilities within that graduate phase. We have a simulation lab, which deals with patient care scenarios. We have a clinical skills lab, history and physical lab, and then we have a anatomy cadaver donor lab with student performed dissections, all things that are fairly unique to our program. Here's an image of our simulation lab. We have 2 high fidelity mannequins. that we use fairly frequently within the program. We have the anatomy donor lab, which the students do their own dissections. And we also integrate radiology right into it. As you can see in the back of this picture, we're looking at a CAT scan of the part of the body that they are, then going in to dissect and look further. Clinical skills lab, where students learn IVs, intubation, casting and splinting, as you see here, suturing, all of those necessary skills for clinical practice. And then the history and physical lab, where they learn to do take histories and perform physical exams on patients. And that's a lovely little baby doing the pediatric lab. So the matriculation from the undergraduate to graduate phase. So you're required to have a minimum of a C+ in all of the program required courses. So that is all of our prerequisites: bio, chem, anatomy, organic, microbiology, biochem, stats, I'm forgetting some, pre-calc. And then you get this, you have some selectives for upper level sciences. So you can take nutrition classes, physics classes, virology, evolution. There's a whole long list of selectives that you can take as well, that you all have to get sort of a C+ in. In addition to that C+ in all of the required classes, you need a minimum of a 3.0 overall and prerequisite GPA. So that means for every C+ you get, you need an A to sort of meet in the middle for a 3.0. In addition, you'll need 30 hours of PA shadowing, 470 hours of direct patient care, and you have to be in overall good standing academically and professionally. So as long as you meet all of those minimum criteria, that guaranteed seat stays yours and you roll right into the professional graduate phase of the program. The program, the undergraduate phase, is designed with wiggle room. You can retake 2 courses if you need to. If you don't get that C+, we give you 2 chances to retake classes and see if you can improve that grade. You'll take the EMT class as part of that undergraduate training to help you with a credential to go out there and get some of that direct patient care hours and PA shadowing. So these are things that maybe sitting at home might seem like a lot right now, but there's plenty of time and lots of space built into their schedules to allow them to get all of this done before that senior year. Admission to the PA program. So it's a competitive application. We use the Common app, which includes an essay prompt. And then the students are required to submit answers to 2 questions directly related to their interest in becoming a physician assistant. The students are required to submit and meet the following requirements. So they have to have an official high school transcript. Generally, admitted students have a GPA of about a 3.5 or higher. You have to show some shadowing hours. We do understand that right now in the COVID-19 pandemic that these are kind of hard to come by right now. So admissions will definitely be giving an accommodation for people who wish to apply but haven't been able to get any hours in. There's a letter of recommendation from either a healthcare professional or a science teacher, someone who can speak to your academic vigor and likelihood of success in our program. 4 years of advanced honors high school math through pre-calc or calc with grades of B+ or better is generally who gets admitted. And then 4 years of advanced or honors science classes, including bio and chem with grades of B+ or better. It's generally who gets accepted into this program. AP credits, you are allowed to transfer in AP credits, but we only allow 8 credits of transfer for science and math. That's that wiggle room for your bio and chem. So we tell students not to transfer in any of their sciences or maths, at least up front. You need to get into Springfield College, take the college level classes, see how you do. And then if you have a pre-calc or something that you got an AP score on, later down the line, we'll let you bring that in at that time. And our curriculum is all online. So you can just Google it up if you're curious what what your years will look like. So right now, here we are in year 1 fall. So freshmen, they're taking bio 1 with a lab, chem 1 with a lab, college writing, EMT class 1, and then they start working on some of this. This is the first year seminar, all those required classes for your bachelor's degree, and then it moves on through. We sort of list out the required classes as general education courses. So that's those histories, literature, art, sociology kind of stuff that you have to take for your bachelor's degree. But we list out those required, what each semester sort of looks like. Here's that long list of potential selectives that you can take. You have to take at least 3. And then we move into year 4 spring. So that is the spring of your senior year, is when you're in that professional phase. We start with research, stats, ethics, and the cadaver lab, in addition to genetics. And then you go right in through the summer doing proposal design, history and physical, clinical medicine, mental health issues, and pharmacology. And then into year 5 fall, spring, and then into the clinical year. So that is what that looks like. I will go back here, and that's it. Time for questions. I'm going to stop sharing, and where's the chat box? So does anyone have any questions? You can unmute, you can put it in the chat box. This is your time. I think there's 3 of you.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah, absolutely, Taylor.
How many students typically submit an application to the program?
That's a great question. Delaney, do you know? I feel like it's a couple hundred. Maybe 100. Maybe Delaney's. I would say it's so Taylor, so we in the PA department don't review the applications unless the admissions department has a question about an applicant. And so I think that we end up with around probably a little bit above 100 applications where we're looking for 35 seats. And we do waitlist people potentially as well as part of that process.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And then Jenna put a question in the chat, which maybe you girls can speak to, is, do you think it's possible to manage sports with this program successfully?
Yeah, so definitely in your undergrad, you can do that. And I think it honestly helps because I played tennis and then I went from playing tennis to rugby. So I think it kind of gives you more time management because you have to get your homework done and your things done before you go to practice or before you have a game or something. So it definitely helps. And if you really want to be in this program and you're motivated to do well, then you will.
I was the same way. I was on the dance team, which was it was a club sport, but it did take up 4 nights a week. So it's definitely doable. And I think that's another thing that makes Springfield a little bit more unique, is that we're a 6-year program. We're not a 5-year program. And being a little bit more spread out absolutely gives you more flexibility in your undergrad years to join clubs, do sports, and get active on campus.
Yes, that was one of the reasons we used to be a 5-year program, and we had people, they would be in the master's phase of the program and seniors in college, and they would miss out on their last semester of sports, and they would be missing out on senior week activities and all of that stuff because they were in such a critical phase of learning medicine. So I think we did that switch a few years ago, and it has been a really successful switch, and the students seem to really appreciate having that undergrad experience, which is so important at Springfield College. Let's see, we have, are you required to live on campus if you get accepted into the program? No, you can absolutely be a commuter student. Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Silence. I appreciate you
Joan,
guys
now-
coming.
Now we know how you feel when you're asking us to ask.
This is what
questions
it's like when I'm teaching and I say, does anybody have any questions? And they all sit there silent. This is exactly what it's like.
And we're like, ask questions, ask questions.
Yes.
Now we get it.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming and listening to the presentation. We're going to have a recording of this that they're going to send out and post. So if there's anything, any other questions you have, you can feel free to reach out. We're going to have another open house, I think, in November. So yeah, and then if everybody wants to look in the link, there is a look in the chat, sorry. There is a link to a survey to fill out for more information if you want more information about the program, and a reminder about the virtual open house on November 1st. And that's it. I will hang, and Seema and Michaela will hang if somebody wants to ask any other questions. Otherwise, we're here.
I just have one more question.
Yeah, great.
It's a little off topic, but I'm a dancer and I play tennis. So could you guys just talk about those opportunities a little bit?
Like playing like a varsity sport and a club sport?
Well, do you like the dance team more specifically?
Yeah, so I don't dance anymore because I'm in the graduate phase, but so we have a lot of different options for dance on campus. So you can do the Pride dance team, which is you have to audition to be on that team because we're a competitive team. So we do like 2 competitions a year, and that's why we practice a little bit more. It's usually like 4 days a week, and then we do football games and basketball games on the weekends. But the tryouts are in early fall. So if you are thinking of either coming next year as a freshman or even the year after that, just make sure to follow their Instagram because they'll post about when the audition date is. And then if you don't want to, do something competitive, you want to just do something more for fun, we do have SC Dancers, which is the club dance opportunity. And that's more, you kind of go when you want to type of club. They do master classes. It's a little different now that we're online. They're kind of doing master classes online and stuff. But they also put on shows, one in the spring, one in the fall, that you can do your own choreography. Pride Dance Team does that too. They do a show in the spring. But it's really just what you're up for. If you want to do a more competitive thing, which I absolutely had time to do that, and it was a great way to find your niche on campus, PDT is a great option. Or if you just want to do something for fun and more lax, you don't have to go to practices, then SC Dancers is more probably what you would be looking into.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I was lucky that I was here.
Very good. All right. Well, we will hang, and otherwise you guys are free to end unless there's more questions. I don't know. Delaney, I think we're all set. Maybe, should I just close it?
I was gonna say no one wants to be the first to leave, so.
No. I guess it's hard. It's very different.
Yeah, we're
it
online. We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
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 You could probably end the recording and then wait to see what Delaney says.
Yeah. Pause. Stop.